Yeah, hello people. Good evening to everyone. Welcome again to another fantastic edition of Head to Head Conversations on Matters That Matter. My name is Mr. Purpose, live right here on Instagram, and I'm going to be joined by a very special guest all the way from Los Angeles, USA. Today, we're going to be talking about creating abundance from your talent. I am super excited about what we'll be sharing and learning. Uh, it's going to be more like a mindset reset for you, because once you are able to increase your learning, you will increase your earnings. Once you are able to increase your learnings, you will increase your earnings. The principles of success, they are the same all over the world. The principles that control the universe, they are the same all over the world, because they were created by the same God. So the principles that control success right here in Nigeria, West Africa, are the same principles that control success in LA, USA, in Madagascar, in Costa Rica, in Puerto Rico, in Algeria, in Brazil, in Mexico, in any nation of the world. The principles that control success are the same. So tonight we are going to be talking to a young man that I met a few months ago, but his profile is very rich, because once you discover purpose, the next thing you should be doing is developing your talent towards activating and creating abundance. So I don't want to waste too much time tonight. Let me just bring in our guest, and then I'll read his profile, and then we get right into it, because we do not have so much time to waste. All right. Please, can you just state in the comment section where you are joining from, your name, your location, and okay, your name, your location, and possibly what you do. I just want to share a bit before I bring in our guest and we begin the conversation, that for you to be able to create abundance from your talent, you need to learn how to develop what is called, what we call passion. But there are two types of passion. You need to do what is called the induced passion. You need to learn how to develop induced passion. Okay, just give me a second. I'm bringing in our guest. Passion is that creative energy on your inside that helps you move from your raw talent to having enough energy to overcome obstacles. Because from the day you discover your purpose or your talent and you decide to be a greater version of yourself, you are going to face obstacles. And that is actually very normal. Scarcity is a creation of man. God is not the author of scarcity at all. And tonight we're talking about creating abundance from your talent. One of the purposes of your talent is to bring you into a life of abundance. There is no room for scarcity in the mindset of anyone that wants to fulfill purpose, because your potential for success is actually unlimited. Your potential is actually unlimited. The only seeming limitations are, you're limited by time, you're also limited by space, because you can only be in one place per time. So some facts about passion: for you to be able to generate abundance, you need to learn how to induce passion. Number one, there are two types of passion. I talked about inborn passion and induced passion, but I'm focusing on induced passion. That's the passion that you need to generate when you don't feel like going on, when you feel like quitting, when you feel like turning back, when you feel like there are no more opportunities for you. Then you need to learn how to induce passion. The first thing about passion is passion can be seen. You can see passion. Passion can be heard. Passion can be felt. And then passion can be increased. And our guest tonight is going to be showing us how to generate abundance from our passion, from our talent, rather, from our talent. So, Bijan, I'm trying to bring you in. Okay. So, let me just do a quick reading of his profile. Then we will kick off the conversation. Bijan is an interdisciplinary fine artist, entrepreneur, and philanthropist. He graduated from the Georgia Institute of Technology and earned his MFA, that's Masters in Fine Arts, at the Art Center College of Design. Bijan is the founder of We Uplift the World Foundation for Arts and Technology. He's going to be telling us a bit about that. Education, providing opportunities for young creatives globally. Bijan consistently creates from a state of abundance. I love that, as he maintains his thriving art and design practice in Los Angeles. But he's not limited to Los Angeles. He's touching lives, making impact, creating connections, generating income from every continent of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, if your hands are not too busy, can we give Bijan Machen a round of applause as we welcome him to the head-to-head conversations. Bijan, how's it been?
I've been great. Thank you so much, Mr. Purpose. Wow.
So good to.
That was quite an
introduction. Oh yeah, You are a big fish. You're a big fish in the ocean of possibilities. All right. So Bijan, before we get into the mainstream conversation, tell us about yourself generally. How was it like growing up? Where were you born? Let's start from where were you born? Were you born in the U.S. or somewhere else in the Caribbean, in Africa? Where were you born?
I was born in Akron, Ohio.
Oh, okay.
Small town in northern, kind of northeastern Ohio. It's a beautiful place, beautiful people, and I love it. And grew up when I was about 10 years old, moved from Akron to Columbus, Ohio. So been an Ohioan up until I went to college in Atlanta. So spent the first 18 years of my life there, but I was born in Akron, and that's actually the same city as LeBron James.
All right. So Bijan, you and I met sometime last year in Lagos, Nigeria, when you came as a guest facilitator for Del Your Creative Academy. Was that your first time in Nigeria? Was that your first time in Africa?
First time in Nigeria, not my first time in Africa. So I traveled a few times to Northern Africa, Morocco, but that was my first time in West Africa. It was my first time in Nigeria, and I absolutely love Legos. I actually got this top that I'm wearing. This was a gift from the Del Your Creative Academy. So beautiful, cool. Hand-painted piece. I absolutely love it. They gave us some really amazing gifts. This is another gift that our students and friends made for us. So I can see this notebook. It's engraved. Okay. Engraved notebook. Yeah. And it says, "Wow, we appreciate you for sharing your light so brightly on us, for shining your light so brightly on us. Other teachers teach, but you went the extra mile to make sure we were impacted abundantly. Because of your manifestations, our lives have been greatly enriched. Thank you, Coach. We love you. Bijan Machen." And it's got the logo here. It's got a picture of me. and made one for
Wow.
Leaky as well, my partner, who's also a teacher there at the Del York Creative Academy, for the fall session for digital marketing and PR. So
Okay. Wow.
really
That
got
was
a lot of love. It was an
that
abundance
was
of
a
love
gift.
exchange.
That was a gift from the students of the class that you took, the digital marketing PR class that you took.
Yes,
Wow.
we were instructors, and these were all gifts from our students that felt that they received a lot of great information and value by the end of the course. And, you know, as they
Awesome.
wrote, as the message said, the energy of abundance and the idea of being able to manifest what it is that is your true purpose, that energy and those ideas really resonated with everyone there. And I think it left a real positive impact. And I know that experience left a very positive impact on me. That was one of the most significantly positive experiences of my entire life. And I can't wait to go back.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I remember the graduation ceremony, but because of time, I will just skip that. I remember the graduation ceremony. All the students were so full of life, full of energy, and the ripple effect of your impactful contribution is still being felt today. You know,
Wow.
you were one of the instructors that my wife was in that class, and the moment she came home after the second day, she was just like, oh, wow. You know, she calls me by my pet name, Noasita. Said, Noasita, you need to meet this guy. So you sound so much alike. This, I was like, okay, who's this man? Who's this guy? She was all over the room about the energy she came back home with had been multiplied. So thank you.
So
Thank
happy
you
to
for
hear that.
being who you are. Thank you for what you do. And, you know, from that day, I began to think of, I conceived this that is happening tonight. And I believe there'll still be more opportunities for us to collaborate to impact our world from our spheres of influence. Now, I usually say to young Nigerian kids that you can start local, but you must think global. When you discover purpose and you discover your talent, you can start local, but you must think global. Don't just think to make impact on your street within the community where you were born. You must begin to see yourself as a global icon despite the limitations or the challenges around you. And from your story, you were born in Atlanta, Ohio. So that leads me to my very...
Akron, Ohio, and then moved to Atlanta. I know there's a lot of A cities
Okay.
in there.
Okay.
So was born
Thanks for that
in
correction.
Akron, Akron, and then I moved to Atlanta and went to Georgia Tech. That was the first place I went outside of Ohio when I kind of left home, as they say, went to college. So yeah, Akron, Ohio.
All right.
But
so you said it was a very small town.
It was a small town, and what I wanted to say real quick, you touched on a really important point. Thinking outside of where we are today and being able to visualize and see and believe in the possibility that we can experience something different than what we're experiencing today, that right there is the abundance mentality. That's a definition of thinking with the abundance mindset. So now something that has to happen for that to occur is exposure. We have to have awareness of what is outside of us, outside of our immediate environment, let me say. Because I think a lot of people don't even know that there's more than what they have been exposed to. And I think right now is a very interesting time for people to think about how they want to reach people, because we have so much access, because we have the internet, because you and I are able to connect from halfway around the world and have other people connect right now. We need to think and be more intentional, and also be more optimistic about the possibilities for ourselves and us when we share our messages and what we want to do, because creating success for oneself is not the same, and it doesn't look like what it used to look like 20 years ago because of what we have today. So 20, 30, 40 years ago, things were much different. We had to take a different approach to work, life, success, happiness, fulfillment. I think now we still have to maintain a strong work ethic at all times, but we have to believe that more is possible for us than what we might have grown up being exposed to, used to, or have access to. Right. So that right there is very important, is knowing that there's other places I can go. There's other people I can talk to. There's always more. That is abundant.
Yeah. Yeah. So that leads me to the very first question. How did you discover that you had this rare talent that has evolved into so much of what you do today? So how did your discovery happen?
It's a process. It's a journey.
Okay.
And it's a series of steps that were taken. And it's a series of steps that are still being taken. So the first thing is acknowledgement and awareness. Once upon a time in my life, over 10 years ago, I was the kind of person that believed that life was challenging and everything had to be a challenge to be overcome. And while I still believe that everything is earned, I didn't acknowledge and appreciate the things that were in my life every day that were completely free or that I was blessed with. And I had to come to a point in my life where some of those things weren't there to make me appreciate them more. I had to go through life to understand that we have the ability to create whatever we want. And there's so much just in the nature and the trees and having conversations with people that we might be missing out on if we're only focused on ourselves and what we can create for our life with a selfish focus or a singular focus. And that outlook on life can be very dark and grim after a while. And I decided that in my life, I only wanted to experience light. I've experienced dark days, I've experienced light. And while I acknowledge darkness, I don't dwell in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided I wanted to be the type of person who makes myself first and then others feel good, positive, awesome, joyful, happy, reminds people of the fruits of the Spirit in the Bible. That's the energy that I seek to exude. And I'm a Christian just like you, and my goal is to try to be the way that Jesus was.
Yeah.
Never be perfect. Will never be as perfect as Jesus was. And Jesus also went through a process, right? So understanding and appreciating the process and taking every day and saying, God gave me everything I need today to create more for myself. Let me make a decision about what I want, who I am, and what I want to create for the world based on the gifts that God bestowed upon me and the exposure that I have, knowing that I can create more and I can always change things later. That is abundance. That wasn't always my thinking, you know. So I had many experiences in my life where I had to redirect. I used to play football and thought that was going to be the only thing I did for the rest of my life. Experiences in life caused that to redirect. Significant injuries, things happen, opportunities, you know, had great job opportunities, you know, and just different things. There's all kind of factors that we can look at that allow us to choose the path we want to go on. And my thing is focusing on the gifts that God gave me and the place that I feel called to go to and making sure that's a priority in every one of my days, because that's when I feel the happiest, the most successful, the most fulfilled, and I feel the most light in my life instead of the dark days. And we can get into some of the things I do to do that, but that's the gist of it, is that taking that acknowledgement and that being in situations that were, I feel like I wasn't called to be in, that weren't exactly perfect for what I wanted to do and how I wanted to impact the world, and knowing that I could appreciate those experiences and take them and move forward and create new experiences and have a lifestyle that I really love every aspect of, which I have right now. Very happy.
All right. Did you ever, as a young boy, did you ever have challenges with your self-esteem?
Absolutely.
at a certain time in your life, because you're such a confident, more confident version of yourself now. You're more, you have several competencies now. The reason I ask this is there are several young people today who like to imitate people that they see that have a form of success, especially on social media. And what I say to them usually is imitation leads to limitation. Imitation leads to limitation. Rather than trying to imitate someone else in terms of their identity, you ought to discover your core self and then begin to develop that person. Because the best you can be of another person is a photocopy of that individual. So for you, did you have a challenge with your self-esteem? Then what were the practical steps that you took to develop the talent that you saw within yourself? Because what limits some people as well is they focus so much on the talent of another individual that is making them great, that's making them create abundance, and they ignore or never acknowledge the capacities that God has placed within them, or it's either they don't see it as big enough to create abundance because they think it's not Bijan's type of talent I have. So mine is just nobody's going to listen to me. Nobody's going to give me room. So how did you develop and the practical steps that you took way back when you discovered that, okay, I have this unique ability about myself? What were the practical steps you took being a child that grew up in the U.S.?
Absolutely. Well, the first thing I would say is super important and critical and pivotal to all of my success, my confidence, and my self-esteem is that I believe in God. And I was raised in church. My mother and grandmother are pastors, leaders of Maranatha Deliverance Tabernacle, Maranatha Women of Courage in the U.S. in many different cities, have been involved in spiritual situations. I was speaking in tongues when I was very young, just involved in spiritual situations and happenings and occurrings and witnessing miracles from a young age, hearing about miracles and seeing manifestations, seeing lack turn into abundance in real ways. That was a step, right? So I would say anybody that is looking to create more with what they have and get the most out of life must have a foundation of faith and a belief in God, and that God created a universe that's much greater than us, but has provided everything within that universe to make us greater. And I think that just comes from a good spiritual foundation. So that's the first thing, is a good foundation of faith, understanding and knowing God, which I know everybody's not blessed to have that. Everybody doesn't have a family that brings them up in that. And very, very good Christian people that love everybody, non-denominational, just non-judgmental, open and loving to all people. That's rare. So got a great family, got really awesome parents and aunts and uncles and grandparents and everybody that helped raise me, that lives by faith. So that was the first thing. But also when it comes to this, just the self-esteem part, because there's things that we have to deal with, and there's things that we can deal with God. But I want everybody to recognize and understand and realize God gives us everything we need to solve our problems. So if we're not doing it, we can ask God for guidance and change the way we're doing things. But it's not on God to blame when things don't happen that we want to happen. We have to understand ourselves, because we can do anything with our talent. Like, we can take it to any level within the realm of human capacity, and also within the realm of your own belief, right? So that's another thing. You got to have magnificent belief and possibility, and that makes things possible. And that comes from exposure, different things. But the key to, I think, getting more confidence to bring this all together is taking more responsibility, right? So it's a strong foundation of faith. And I took responsibility for who I am, the way I look, the way I feel, and the way I make others feel, the things I want to do, and decided to lean into the things I feel like I could be responsible for, the things I could do well, the things I enjoy. Lean into that And that is the talent, the things that call you. And if you start to do something else, which I learned as I got older, and this also developed my confidence, I was put in uncomfortable situations and in places where I realized I don't want to continue being in this situation. Because even if it gets challenging, I don't want the rewards that come with those challenges. Let me choose something where I'm okay to accept the challenges that come with the rewards that I want, and have rewards that are worthy of the challenges. And a lot of the jobs and things and experiences that I had didn't do that. The sports that I didn't play, the reward wasn't worth the challenge. For football, it was. I enjoy the team aspect. I enjoy playing. So I'll sum that up into intuition. And that also goes back to faith, but it's strong faith is taking responsibility for who you are, what you want, and knowing that you have the control and the power to do things given by God. And there's people that choose to use that power at different levels, some even to the level of being conceited and narcissistic. Some people get off the wagon and stop acknowledging that God gave them those abilities. Then they have to be humble. However, you can do anything. And I had to just keep listening to positive information that make me and help me to believe I can do anything.
So you took responsibility and you acted on the positive information
and
that
intuition
was available, and intuition.
Right.
Okay, yeah, you mentioned intuition. So there's very interesting similarities in our story. You mentioned you were involved in some level of, is it the American football or the soccer? Is it the American football you're referring to?
American football, Super Bowl. Yeah.
Okay, Super Bowl.
Yeah, I played in college though. I played at Georgia Tech. So I played NCAA, I played up through high school. Yeah, I really love that sport. I love the team aspect of American football and the leadership and responsibility and accountability that it created for me as a young man. It was great.
Oh, wow. Okay, I used to want to be a footballer as well in my younger days. But as I discovered my core identity, I had to shift, I had to make the shift and stay on this path of being an inspirational, transformational speaker. And that could just be another reason why some people are not creating as much abundance as they ought to be creating, because they haven't really found that particular talent that they ought to be using to create value. Because like I said earlier, a lot of young people in Africa, especially Africa, Nigeria, are trying to be who they are not. That's the first challenge. I don't know if young people in the US also face that kind
That's all over the world.
Okay.
That's
so identity crisis.
People trying to be something that's not them, trying to live a dream or a vision that someone else implanted into their mind. Yeah.
So identity crisis happens all over the world, from what you just said to me. So for you in particular, what gave you the push and motivation to keep going, to keep evolving, to keep taking responsibility in spite of the challenges that were around you at that time? What was your motivation? What was the real push? What gave you the push?
Well, I'll say this, it's knowing that I can have more and seeing that I can create more. It's knowing that I can have more in my life and seeing the possibility. And I'll say this, while I never want to be comparative, it is good to see things that other people have accomplished and be exposed to other people's greatness. You know?
Yeah.
It's really important to be exposed to things that are better than what you currently have in the physical and the spiritual. That could be relationships. That could be the ability to just travel and do things. The ability to collect Pokemon cards, whatever it is. I think all of the drive comes from seeing other things that we might want to experience, because we came to this physical existence in life to experience and enjoy things and enjoy feelings, right? I think that's what everybody's really going for is a feeling, right? So having an understanding that if that's what it is, let me see what it means to create feeling. And if I create feelings when certain things happen, maybe I can learn to create those feelings on my own without or with other things happening. So understanding one's mind, understanding the power of the mind, I think is the answer. And that comes through experimentation. And I like to read, so reading and just good information, spending my time around people that have the results that I think would be nice results to have. Now, I'm never trying to copy somebody's life. I'm never trying to have what they have, but I might enjoy the results that someone else has and want to experience similar results in my own lane. And that's what really helps drive me, is seeing what's possible.
Wow. So other people's greatness gave you inspiration and motivation to pursue your own greatness, pursue your own continuous self-development towards where you've gotten to today.
Right.
And that's very key. You were not trying to become them. Rather, you allowed what they had achieved serve as positive energy that propelled your own actions. So, okay, before I go to the other question here, so can you just tell us some of the role models or people that shaped who Bijan is today? American icons that shaped your mindset as a younger version of you. Who are those icons? And maybe they are not Americans, but I'm sure some of them would be.
Yeah. So there's plenty, and I will start with saying rest in peace to Virgil Abloh. He was more recent. I would say I'm gonna start by saying rest in peace to Virgil Abloh.
Oh,
Virgil Abloh, the designer. One of the most significant influences on me in my adulthood, from just the perseverance, the manifestation ability, the design thinking, and the doing for others and philanthropy and leading with love at a high level. Super inspiration. And that's like my top artistic, creative, business role model. Now, growing up, I had a lot of different role models and people I aspired to as well. Always looked up to my father, who's successful in his own right and is a great father and just lives on awesome principles of manhood, scholarship, perseverance, uplift, and a lot of other really awesome things. Outside of my dad, there were other heroes like Michael Jordan, sports heroes. I really liked Jim Carrey growing up. I was a fan of Jim Carrey because he had an ability to bring joy, and I really admired that. Jim Carrey is a comedian who's been in a lot of different movies, and he was on a show called In Living Color. I used to watch with my mom growing up. Yeah, that was like on in the 90s when I was growing up. I'm a 90s kid, and just really enjoyed people who could bring joy to others. Keenan and Kel. Always thought I was going to be on a Nickelodeon show. Still might happen. But ability to bring joy and like have fun. So I admire people that did that. I admired my mother and my grandmother who were always leaders, and saw them doing things for other people and going out of their way to help others, and then still living the life that they want to live and being awesome people and completely fulfilled in their service to others. Like, it's really impressive. So, just like the family, but other superstars and celebrities, and I'll say it's important to have a good family, and people that feel like your family might not be supportive, get around some other friends that treat you like family that believe in you. That's super
Yeah.
important is a strong environment, more so than heroes from afar. But you know, a lot of what I saw was on TV growing up. You know, whatever we had access to on television. So as you got older, I started looking at a lot of musicians because I always loved music and grew up in choirs and played saxophones in band, played drums. So I was always really into music and musicians and just the way they were living their life and the way they're portrayed in media. And um, yeah, I like I remember watching Crisscross. I don't know if anybody remembers Crisscross, but they used to wear like these backwards everything, overalls, jerseys, jeans. And they were young kids who were rappers. They were a duo. So like I always remember moments of like Crisscross getting inspired, seeing the Fresh Prince and Will Smith and getting super inspired.
Yeah.
That Will Smith
Yeah.
was like, oh, he's on MTV and he's on the Fresh Prince TV show. That's cool. Like what does
Fresh
that
Prince of
mean?
Bel Air. I
Yes.
remember
And
that.
and let's take Will as an example. Like he's one of the greatest at what he does, and it's like he's able to win Grammys and make really high quality music that was also fun, and he didn't curse and was family friendly, and also be on TV and in movies. I just thought
Mhm.
that was fascinating. You know, people that are able to be at this level and have this level of exposure, especially back then, in this many things. Um, and that's what we were exposed to, you know. Now, because we have the internet, and as I got older, I was able to get exposed to business leaders and people who were like Steve Jobs, you know, went from really, really loving my iPod because I was listening to music on
Yeah.
it to then seeing what was created with the iPhone and was just like, yo, this is one person, this Steve Jobs and this company, they're really turning up on technology. And even when I was younger, I really enjoyed, always been into tech and computers. I loved the Apple computers that they had a big round back and they had different colors. They had like neon orange and teal, different colors of the Mac computers that they had in the schools, and we would use those in like first, second, third grade. I remember, and that was really exciting to me. We also had some of the old like IBM and old PCs where you had to put the floppy disk in. We played Oregon Trail on the floppy disk.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody remembers that. So I've lived through all these different times, but you know, hearing Bill Gates' name and just knowing that Bill Gates was successful because he created something that we use every day, that was inspiring to me as a young kid. I didn't really understand it. I didn't really know what it meant. Didn't understand supply chain and subscriptions and software. However, you hear about people through culture, and that's what you aspire to do as a young person. At least I did. I aspired to be someone that other people hear about for something positive in the culture.
Yeah.
And that's, I think,
You know,
what really put the desire to be an artist and an entrepreneur in my heart at a young age.
wow, powerful, powerful story. Thanks for sharing that. Now, your story again, once again, highlights the principle I've been teaching for over 14 years to young kids in Nigeria here. That one of the ways to discover yourself is to check what resonates with you in other people's success stories. The kind of people that you were pulled to was actually because you also had the natural makeup that was pointing towards that kind of lifestyle. You were attracted to artistic kind of people because there was an artistic seed of greatness inside of you as well. So if you're watching this video right now or wherever you're watching or listening to this, either on Bijan's podcast, and you are yet to really understand your core identity, or you've not really come to a place of self-discovery or self-mastery, one of the pointers to understanding your core dominant self is to check what inspires you or who inspires you. What identity, because that's the key to success. The first foundation of success is to discover who you genuinely were created by. One of the ways or one of the principles of self-discovery is to check your self-motivation. What are you moved naturally? What are you drawn to? So, Bijan, I would like you to tell everyone watching about the Uplift the World Foundation. Tell us about the Uplift the World. From the name, we already know that you are into empowerment, uplifting others. But tell us the nitty-gritty. Why did you choose that name? And then how do you go about uplifting the world around you?
Absolutely. We uplift the world. WUTW. WUTU. The We Uplift the World Foundation started with a sketch in a sketchbook. And it started with me writing notes down after hearing so many successful people talk about the importance of journaling and daily writing. If you can write what you want and write a plan for it on paper, then it's clear enough for you to go and do it. And just follow the steps and don't quit till you cross the next thing off, however long it takes. Understanding that, put that into practice and said, when I was in a state, this is that state that I explained earlier, 10 plus years ago, seeking purpose, seeking true purpose, living a life that was successful to the standards of everyone around me, my parents, my friends. But inside, I knew that I'm going to be doing something else one day. That's what I really want. One day I'm going to be doing what I really love. Like, this is cool, but this is just a stepping stone to the real thing. I said, what is that real thing? Why do I keep putting off the real thing? Why do I keep going from job to job and just trying to make a little bit of time for the real thing, for the thing that really matters to me? Painting at night, up until 2 a.m. painting, and then wake up and try to paint more. Don't even want to go to work, but got to go to work. And it's like, man, this is the only thing I'm doing when I'm not at work. Why don't I make this my work? So just thinking these thoughts, or find a situation where this can be involved in my day-to-day. Thinking these thoughts caused me to write down ideas. Writing those ideas caused me to say, I'm going to start my own organization. It also came for me working at different nonprofits, being a Boys and Girls Club mentor, doing different things, mentor in the church and teaching, coaching youth football, all that. Okay, I've done all these different things. I know what matters to me. I know how I want to serve. Let me do this.
Yeah.
Let me lean into the things that bring me joy, which was playing my saxophone, drawing, making clothes, painting, teaching people how to do those same things. All these things bring me great joy. And I know people get paid for these things. Got to figure out the how. So I made We Uplift the World an organization that would allow me to figure out my own how and teach others how to get to where I've figured out how to get to. I'm not saying I have all of life figured out, but I do have a life of purpose, and I created a company that is about purpose and helping other people find that. And we help other people make money as well, because sustainability is real. So find your purpose and make money. That's a cool idea. Let me create something that does that, because I wish I had that when I was growing up. So it started out of knowing that there could be something else outside of what I had growing up. There could be something new. There could be more abundance that could help more people and give people a fast track to purpose. What does that look like?
Wow.
That's what we have. The World Foundation.
Wow. Brilliant. Wow.
Thank you.
You know, there's a saying that success without a successor is failure, is leadership failure. And a candle does not lose its own light when it lights up other candles around it that were still dark. So that's leadership. That's great leadership that that you've demonstrated and you're still demonstrating. And it's such a crucial need in our generation today to know that you don't need to be as rich as Bill Gates first before you create a platform to transform other people around you. Some people are waiting to be as big as Warren Buffett, as Bill Gates, in Africa as Aliko Dangote, not knowing that it's when you begin to enrich the world around you with your current level of discovery or riches that you even become richer yourself, that you become bigger. So
use what you have to create more abundance. Multiply your talents.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So Bijan, what are your dominant talents that you have used to create business? Now we're talking about business, making money, right? So just hold on for 10 seconds before you answer that. Let me just quickly fine tune some things in my environment. Just hold on. Just hold your thought.
Hey, if y'all enjoying this, put some red light emojis in the comments. That's the abundance alert logo. That's the symbol, the flashing light. That's an alert of abundance. Flash up the comment section with abundance emojis. And you can put hearts too, because we love you. Thank you.
All right, I'm back. So I was asking that what are the talents that you have been able to convert into a business platform? You know, like in Nigeria, there's this man called Alibaba. I don't know if you heard of him. Alibaba is, yes.
When I went to Morocco, they were calling me Alibaba. I was walking around, like, Alibaba. Yeah, I don't know what it meant. I don't know if it's a compliment or not, but it felt cool.
Yeah.
Well,
sure. There's a man. Well, he's called the king. He's referred to as the king of comedy in Nigeria, right? He studied law in a university, but he discovered that he had the talent to make people laugh, right? And this was at a time when there was no comedy industry in Nigeria at all. Nobody was being paid. If you tell your parent that I want to, when I get out of school, I'm going to be a comedian, you get whooped, because that in itself was a joke. That you mean you're going to spend your entire life making other people laugh? How would you pay your bills?
Right.
Making other people laugh, you know?
Right.
But this man, he paid the price and pioneered an entire industry. So today we have hundreds and thousands of young people, young men and women in Nigeria who are stand-up comedians, masters of ceremonies, because of this one man. He's a billionaire today in every sense of the word. Another example of a pioneer who turned her talent to business is a woman called Tara Feladuro-Toye. I'm referring to Nigerian examples. So I want you to tell me about American examples. So this woman, her talent is focused. It's very funny. Her talent is, makeup, beauty makeover for women, and that prior to that time, there was nobody doing the business of making women look more beautiful, enhancing their beauty with some brush and some colors and what have you. She also had to deviate, had to leave her educational background and pursued her greatness using her natural talent. And it's over 25 years today. She has branches of her business in about 4 or 5 countries around Africa. She has over 22,000 beauty reps that represent her brand, House of Tara. And she's still expanding, you know. So that's why I'm very passionate about teaching people how to discover their core talents. Now, once you find your talent, you have discovered one of the most powerful tools to, yes, fulfilling God's purpose, which is empowering, changing the lives of people, but also generating a lot of cash, generating a lot of money to also change your own life and be able to make positive contributions in the lives of people that matter to you and in the lives of, you know, the community at large. So for you, Bijan, what is that, or what are those unique talents that you were able to discover, then develop, and then you've been deploying for those who don't really know what you do? And how were you able to, and wait, before you go into that, and how were you able to monetize your talent?
Yes. Okay. So the first thing is you have to know it's possible for you to make a lot of money doing what you love. You have to know that. You have to know and believe that. Everybody say it with me. It is 100% possible for me to become rich doing exactly what I love to do. Okay. Now that we've created that level of understanding and overstanding, you can do anything and make a lot of money. Anything. Okay. What do you want to do? What do you want to try to do? What do you want to try to become better at? And what is something that you want to become so good at that you're willing to persevere when it gets tough and not give up when you want to give up? What is something you want so much, you want to experience so much that you're willing to not give up? For me, I had to answer that question. And the answer for me was I want absolute freedom, and I want to be able to make people feel good and get paid for how good I can make people feel. What does that look like? There's tons of different ways that can happen. I told you who some of the people were that I looked up to, but it's like, okay, I know there are songs that make me feel good. I want to make songs.
Okay.
I don't want to just play in band or go to choir practice. I want to go and make songs. My own song from beginning to end. I want to know how to make the entire thing. And I want to make a song that can potentially make someone else feel just 1% better than they feel right now when they hear the song. Because that made me feel good. Music made me feel good. I get turned up to music. I love music. Anybody that knows me, who's been around me, knows I turn up. I do that. I've always done that. It's something that's not going to change, and I'm going to turn up more as time goes on, more abundantly, actually. So, music was one of those things. Communication is one of those things. Okay. So yes, now I do sell music. I do make money with my music in different forms, online, on streaming, licensing, sync licensing, which means getting music for video games, movies, TV shows, things like that. Different sounds for other kind of digital media projects.
Okay.
Also communication. I always love listening to motivational speakers, Tony Robbins, your Eric Thomas, Steve Harvey. Love when people can use words to create energy and emotion. T.D. Jakes, my grandmother, the Apostle Elaine Hassan. You know, other people, lit energy. Okay. That to me, the ability of spoken word to generate uplift, that is something that impacted me again. Helped me get up when I was down. Shine light on my darkest days with words, people pouring love out of their heart, using their tongue to uplift. Okay, speaking love, speaking life. Okay. I said, I want to be a life speaker. I want to be able to talk to people and make them feel better. And I got to figure out how to get paid to do this. So the first thing was like, okay, now that I know I want to do that, I know what I want. I have to first know what I want and decide I'm going to get the talent to get paid in this. Okay. There's a reason I'm starting here. I want people to break this thing down. It's like, what do I even want to be great at? Answer those questions first. That's where a lot of people get misguided, is they're trying to be great at a career that is their parents' dream for them, or their girlfriend's dream for them, or something else, somebody else's dream that they saw that's like, hold on, let me check in with myself and make sure I really want to do this with belief that I can be better than I am today. Don't be like, oh, I don't have any talent, so I'm not going to try. It's like, no, if you love that thing and you're willing to try without giving up and just keep getting better every day, if you're willing to do something every day, focus on that, you know? Looks like Mr. Purpose left the Zoom.
So, well, it's reconnecting.
Oh, are you still on, Mr.
Here.
Purpose?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still here,
Yeah,
but my Zoom.
All right, bet.
My Zoom is reconnecting to you. Sorry, people, we're also live on Zoom, so it was just the connection is reconnecting.
Oh yeah, we got a double going on. Okay.
So
okay, here we go.
okay,
We got a game. All right,
yeah, well,
everything's perfect. Right. So I'm explaining the talents that I use to make money, but I'm also explaining my thinking around those things. Because too many times people will tell you the end result, but not tell you how. How do I get there? Like, I need some instructions. Like, what do I do today? You know, what's something that I can do today, right now, to live a life that I love? You know, what's something I can do right now today to live a life that I love and that brings me absolute fulfillment? Okay, so I decided that it's something that I want to, no matter how long it takes, I want to work at creating success in this field, art making, because of the way art made me feel. And also communication. And that could come in the form of teaching, of just public speaking generally, events, activations, activating spaces, mentorship, coaching, but using knowledge, energy transfer, and the spoken word to help people create transformation. So I want to be paid for creating transformation and transmuting value. So those are things that I have done. I've been paid to speak. I get paid to speak. I get paid to teach. We Uplift the World has a consulting and an education business. So both of those tiers bring in revenue streams. We work as consultants, do Web3 consulting as well, as just education and program and communication consulting, and also education workshops and programs, teaching specific skills, entrepreneurship, different technology, how to use chain together in ways that are productive. We want to kind of be on the cutting edge, but it all came from things that I'm interested in. You know, I created a company that would allow me to get paid in creative ways, but I had to discover how to do this because they didn't teach any of this in college. I went to college twice. Nobody ever taught me how to make money on my own without sending in a job application or a resume or a cover letter. No one ever talked about that, ever. Never talked about a business structure, formation, LLC, none of that. It was always preparing oneself to be good enough to get accepted by some other people to do work for them with a limited cap on the amount of income I can ever earn for the rest of my life. And that just wasn't a fit for me. That just didn't make sense to me. And I knew there was more. I witnessed people with other types of freedom in life. And I said, I want that. It's not really people around me that have that kind of freedom, but I believe those people are living their dream. They're living their highest and best, and they're living the life that they want to. But I'm going to pursue something else, something different. And I love adventure, you know, so that's part of the joy of entrepreneurship too for me. And that's another reason I chose to be an entrepreneur and lean into the idea of discovery, meeting new people, communication, and being able to help other people's businesses with my business. You know, that's something that was really exciting to me. And I chose to lean into the things that were exciting to me and that I knew people pay people to do this. Like this, people pay for this stuff. Let me discover and find the ways I can get paid to do what it is that I really, really, really love. It's like if you if you sit up on your phone scrolling on Instagram and Facebook on a particular topic, looking at cars, let me figure out a way that I can get paid to be in this industry. Let me sell cars. Let me sell accessories. Let me sell wheels, or like build a website for other people to buy cars. Like, do something that allows me to be immersed in this industry, in this thing that I love. And I just feel like there's too many people that are working in photography. Don't just say I'm going to wait till I save up enough money to buy my own studio. No, just like start running a studio, do studio photography now. You do a wedding if you want to, but if you really want to do that, do that. Don't box yourself in just because you think, oh, I can make more money doing weddings. But if you don't love weddings, there's somebody else out there that's making more money than you doing weddings because they love it. And
Love it.
you're missing out on being the person that's making the money doing studio sessions in your area because you love that. So go do that. Don't just chase what looks like it might be more money right now, because if you really chase what you love and that you're willing to go hard for and not sleep or forget to eat for, you can make money than anybody because you'll be the best in your industry because you're the most and you love it. And people will feel that, and people respond to that love, respond to that energy. So yeah, tap into what brings you joy. But I tap into selling art. I sell paintings. I have a website. So anybody that's appreciating this conversation, I would love support the website bijanmachen.com. BIJANMACHEN. There's an art store there. You can buy my art and have it in your home. There's fashion pieces, there's clothing, there's all kind of cool stuff. And there's more inspirational products, things that can go out into the world and bless people's lives for ages and ages to come. But I'm tapping into the things that bring me joy, and then I believe in myself. How we doing on Instagram Live, everyone? How's it going there? How is it going on the live? Yeah, we're gonna get you. We're gonna get you back on Zoom.
Let me wait for that before we go ahead. Okay.
All right.
Recording in progress.
All right, we're back on Zoom.
Awesome. We are live. Got the connection coming back through. Awesome. Yes, it's coming back. All right, we got audio. We're good.
Yeah, can I go ahead? Can I go on? Can you hear
Yes, sir.
on Zoom? Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay. Right.
Yes.
You were saying that it's very important to do an analysis of what you
Right. Right. And you can choose your people can choose their niche. Think you're back now.